Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to this latest edition of Saksham, which is an annual event organized by PCRA in association with Indian Oil. In our journey to achieve the goal of becoming a $5 trillion economy, energy requirements and fuel consumption are likely to increase rapidly. As fossil fuels will constitute a majority, an approach of reliance on cleaner technology will be important. Over the years, PCRA has been at the forefront of promoting energy efficiency and conservation in various sectors. The Petroleum Conservation Research Association is an organization established in the year 1978 under the aegis of Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. The organization is engaged in promoting energy efficiency in various sectors of the economy. It helps the government in proposing policies and strategies aimed at reducing India's dependency on oil in order to save money and reduce the environmental impact of oil use and also conserve the fossil fuels. For the last 5 years, India has been partnering with PCRA in organizing Saksham, which is the Sanrakshan Shamta Mahotsav. The New Delhi Institute of Management has been declared Best Management Institute of India for Industry Linkages third year in a row by the AICTE and the CII. India has also been elevated and declared as the first and the only mentor institute in India in the management category by the AICTE and CII in 2019. It is NSDC's Center for Technical Internship Training Program for training and sending manpower to Japan and has been declared the India International Skill Center by the NSDC. NDIM is the only B school in India to be the pan-India incubation partner of the FX Trade and Industry Chamber, ASSOCHAM. Last year's Saksham saw over 1.48 crore student participation for disseminating the message of conservation. In the month-long event, almost 9 crore individuals were reached out through 47,000 different programs across the country. This year's theme is Green and Clean Energy, which will help us in sensitizing citizens the need to adopt cleaner and greener forms of energy to ensure a healthy environment and better tomorrow for future generations. Now, I will introduce you to our judges. We have with us Ms. Nivedita Banerjee, who is joining us from the Indian Oil side. Then we have Professor Atul Rawat and Professor Manvi, who are joining us from the New Delhi Institute of Management. I will now read the rules of the debate for the participants. Each participant will first introduce themselves. Each participant will speak on the given topic for 4 minutes. The participants will be evaluated on the given parameters, which are confidence, relevance, facts that they present in the debate, and the time limit that they follow during the debate. Now, I will call out the first participant for the debate. Shubham, you can start now.
Respected jury and my fellow mates, my name is Shubham Bhatia and I am a student of New Delhi Institute of Management, batch 2019-21. May I start the debate?
Yes, you may go ahead.
Okay. So I would like to take this opportunity to express my views in favor of green and clean energy. So I would like to start with a quote by Thomas Edison, who said that I want to put my money on oil and wind energy because I don't want that we should wait for the fossil fuels to run out, and we need to tackle that. Indeed, true sense. And now I would again like to quote a mind-boggling statistic that according to United Nations in India, India is destined to 2027 targets of achieving 275 gigawatts of green and clean, that is renewable energy, 72 gigawatts of hydroelectricity, 10 gigawatts of nuclear energy for the betterment of power security, and 100 gigawatts from other zero carbon emitting sources. Now, I would like to say that green and clean energy is the one which can be reused again and again and is termed as for a green energy to be renewable energy. So now I would explain to you regarding the benefits of green and clean energy and what the steps has taken by India to do so. So the first benefit of renewable energy is that it contributes to the SDG, that is Sustainable Development Goals of 2030. And earlier it was stated that for a country to be developed, it has to increase its energy usage and increase the greenhouse gas emissions. But by the Sustainable Development Goals 2030 that was adopted in 2016, it is said that renewable energy can contribute to the further progress of the nation as well as the sustainable development. Second is the energy access. According to a stat in United Nations in India, all 100% of villages are electrified, but there are still 12.5% of the total population in India to whom electricity is not reached so far. So for them, Indian government is trying to incentivize the poor to use biogas and the cow dung energy waste from the garden and kitchen materials, and has set up the NBMMP scheme, that is National Biogas and Manure Management Program. Third, climate action. Climate action and health pollution is also one of the concerns which we need to address through this green and clean energy. And according to a study in 2019, Delhi and other 6 cities of India were among the top 10 polluted cities across the globe. And Delhi is the most polluted capital city on earth. So, non-combustible green and clean energy resources can also reduce the pollution of air in major cities and can reduce the risk of health-related changes in the human body. That is, asthma, tuberculosis, and other related diseases. Now, I would like to take further steps that what India is doing right now, that is setting up of solar parks like Shakti Sthal in Bangalore, which is among the largest in the world and second largest in India. And now I would like to conclude with the theme that India needs to set up its energy resources well planned according to 2035 energy vision goals by Niti Aayog, and India needs to diversify its mix of clean energy. Thank you. I've closed the debate.
Thank you, Shubham. You rightly brought our notice to the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, I would like to call the second candidate, who is Deep Shankar Nath. Deep Shankar Nath, you can proceed.
All right. Thank you for the floor. Uh, Good morning to one and all present here. My name is Deep Shankar Nath from New Delhi Institute of Management, batch 2020 to 2022. And indeed, it's my honor to participate here on this very interesting topic. And I would like to shed some light on the topic as well. So, may I have the permission to start?
Yeah, sure. And you please, candidates, don't ask for permission. You can
Sure.
start
Thank
once
you.
you've been called for.
Thank you. India should walk on her own shadow. We must have our own development model. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not my words, but words of APJ Abdul Kalam, our former president. But I ask a question today to the audience. Do we have our own development model? Do we have a plan? An economy so big that the world saw it jumping places in the previous years. Do we have the energy? Do we have the will to run the country? The answer is vague. And yes, in order to develop and run a nation like India, we need energy, enormous energy, but we do not want energy that destroys the world. That is not sustainable enough, as stated by the United Nations. While clean and green energy that comes from renewable and zero emission sources that does not pollute the atmosphere today, when used, the traditional energy which we are using tends to not only deteriorate the environment but also deteriorates our health. Yes, yet we are using the same old traditional resources, the energy. Most of us are still sticking to it. So, what exactly is the problem related to the traditional energy? They are finite, exhaustible, and our dependency on them is dangerous. They are the main reason for increase of greenhouse gases. They are the reason for global warming, but we are ignoring it. According to sources, 2020 and 2016 were one of the warmest year on records. The Earth's temperature has risen on an average of 0.85 Celsius since the end of 19th century. While that looks small, the consequences are big. Polar bears are dying. Iceland is losing glaciers. Italy is on its way to be submerged. Japan is going to be submerged. And the coral reefs are dying and whatnot. But we are still closing our eyes and are ignorant to the fact that these traditional energy are having so many wrong impact on the environment. But what's the reason? The reason is still we are deliberately sticking to the use of traditional fuels and our ignorance for the environment. Now the question arises, what is the world doing? Well, since the last 100 years, a lot of accords and agreements have been signed. Kyoto Protocol in the 1997, the Paris Accord. But where is the result? The results won't come if international procedures are followed, but the result will come if we stand together. To the damage already done to our Mother Earth, the damage isn't reversible overnight. We have to stand today together to make things back in good shape. In fact, if we ignore this difficult situation anymore, it might not be reversible at all. Today, why are we talking about renewable resources and energy is because this is indeed the only key feature which can help us to go back. Renewable energy emits no or almost low greenhouse gases. Hence, it is good for climate. Renewable energy emits no or low air pollutants. Hence, it is better for our health. Renewable energy is at low cost, means everyone can have access to it. And when I say renewable energy is accessible to all, it is development. Wait a minute, it's not just development, it's sustainable development. Renewable energy is secure. It means that we will have stability not only in our economy but in the world. And to excel this, we have in India our Kamuthi solar panel project, Mupandal wind farm projects. Now it's our duty to have a vision and a mission. We must not just talk but also walk the talk and spread awareness about the energy sources. Energy source is essential for the development and sustainable energy, essential for sustainable development. Tim Worth said it. Today, we need to promise as the very careful and very important citizen that we are going to use electronic buses, we are going to use all the carpools which we promised, and we are going to develop our nation sustainably. Thank you.
Thank you, Deep Shankar Nath. You very beautifully explained that problem to such a big, uh, you've given solution to such a big problem like climate change, that humanity, if stands together, can deal with anything. On this note, I will call the next candidate, Anand Keshav. You can start now.
Good morning, respected jury members. Myself, Anand Keshav from Bokaro Steel City, Jharkhand. I have completed my undergrad in BBA from Amity University, Ranchi, currently pursuing PGDM from New Delhi Institute of Management. Today, I would like to speak about sustainable development using green and clean energy. As we all are aware that health of our planet is deteriorating day by day. Hence, some of the stringent measures are the need of the hour. In this regard, we need to make some day-to-day lifestyle changes such as replacing our need for energy from non-renewable to renewable resources, switching from polybags to cloth or paper bag, etc. Being environment friendly, these resources are diverse, abundant, and highly potent than the traditional ones. The list doesn't end, it even encompasses tidal, wind, geothermal, biomass, hydroenergy. In the long run, these are more sustainable as they do not hurt biological niche of other species. These resources, however, are quite expensive. In order to make it affordable, there is a need for national level interventions. Likewise, if organic foods are highly produced, if the health of the nation will eventually prosper. Now, speaking on the stats, what India has done and will be doing in the future. The solar plant which being set up in Gujarat produces 24,000 megawatts electricity, which can light several thousand, light up the houses for the people. Our electricity production from wind, hydro energy are 10% to 5%, which can produce currently at 10,000 megawatts and 20,000 megawatts. Next, as the coming to climate change, India has declared by our Honorable Minister Shri Prakash Javadekar that India will reduce carbon emission by 35% by 2035. Second, Tesla, as it is coming to India, we will have more electricity driven cars than petrol cars. CNG. Next, India has told that it will increase from 175 gigawatt renewable resources power to 475 gigawatts power, as 10% and 5% in this are hydro energy and wind energy and biomass energy, and it will also increase 5% of geothermal energy. Global warming is a global issue which is a seriously requires intervention for the conservation of our biodiversity. Over the decade, our days have shortened about 0.02 seconds. It's high time we realize our malpractices are affecting the others, with whom we share the precious thing called our Mother Earth. Let's pledge and to make changes of our lives for the betterment of our planet. Thank you, respected jury members, for your patience and understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand Keshav. Thank you for motivating us to take this pledge to move to green and clean energy. Next, I would invite Jijo Jo to start with his part.
Good morning, everyone. I am 2019-21 batch MBA student of New Delhi Institute of Management. So I'd like to take this debate forward. Our planet is destroyed in 1,000 carbon-intensive ways. So when we talk about all these different clean and green energy systems, we need to think about energy. We have been dependent upon this energy for a long period of time. And we have been depending on conventional means of energy, like petroleum, coal, etc. The use of petroleum can be traced back even to 3000 BC in Mesopotamia. And the use of coal can be traced back to Bronze Age. The firewood has been used even before the civilization started. So here comes our problem. The energy is vital for us, and the demand for this energy is increasing day by day. Now, not just the demand is increasing, but also the prices are fluctuating and are on record high. Therefore, we need an alternative source of energy to tackle this problem. Now, here comes our another dilemma. We are not going to be satisfied just by having an economical alternative. Here, today we need something which is not just economical, but also something which is friendly to environment. Why is that so? That is the reason we are going to talk about green and clean energy today. Green and clean energy are those energy, the means by which producing it will not release any kind of harmful gases to the atmosphere. So these are green forms of energy. Now, what happens with this non-conventional form of energy is that they pollute very less, but rather when we talk about conventional form of energy, they release high carbon monoxide into the air, and also they are resultant in global warming and other impacts like that. Now, let's look at one statistics. It is a statistics which is like of a old time, but it has been found out by environmentalists that the world is tapping only 80% when it comes to the world is tapping 80% when it comes to conventional form of energy, whereas it is just tapping 20% when it comes to clean and green form of energy. Now, this in a long run is not going to aid us anywhere. So what are the implications of it? Let me talk about the last year. Even though we were all were under the lockdown in the 2020, we saw that many places had wildfires. We saw the wildfire in Australia, in Brazil, and many other famines and everything. The environmentalists quote that these are indirect implications of all the use of these fuel, carbon fueled emissions. Now, therefore, keeping in mind, India upscaled its target to produce all other non-conventional forms of energy from 3.5 gigawatts to in 2005 to 175 gigawatts. But it didn't stop there. It even rather increased it to 475. Now, not just that, 2020 is the second biggest year of Arctic melting. So it is after 2012. Now, all these things point us to one place that we need to move ourselves. We have been talking about pollution for so long. Now it's time for us to stop talking and stop acting. So I would invite every one of you to start using and supporting green form of energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jijo, for giving us this motto: "Stop talking and start acting." With you, the students in the first batch are done with their debates. Now, I think we should invite the students in the second slot for joining the debate.
No, Komal is here, Garima.
Okay, so Komal is from the first slot only.
Yeah.
Okay, Komal, so you can start now.
Good morning, respected sir, ma'am. I'm Komal Dhiranan. I'm first year student of NDIM, and as we all know that we are gathered here for Saksham Oil Conservation Awareness Competition, and I'm going to speak on importance of green and clean energy. And today I would like to talk about why India is heavily dependent on crude oil. What are the repercussions and how can this affect our health, environment, and what are the possible way out to fight this battle? As we know, India is the second most populous nation and the seventh largest country by area in the world. It is the third largest importer of crude oil after China and USA. The country imported almost 270 million metric ton crude oil in 2019 to 20. So let me tell you how different ways it is hurting the economy of our nation. Problem is, in June 2020, the fuel prices increased by 20 times in a row, touching 80 rupees per liter. This is due to the fact that more than 60% of India's crude oil requirement is fulfilled by Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia, who are presently facing political instabilities. One of the prime reasons is a steady weakening of India's currency is over dependence of imported crude oil. So this is where the importance of domestic production, strengthening of indigenous industries, and impact of substitution comes into the picture. In our nation is usually self-sufficient. If it's usually self-sufficient, its foreign exchange reserves would be steadily growing, and import would be limited, leading to decrease in the price of goods and services, making things more affordable for the citizens. Excessive use of crude oil does not impact the economy, but it's more harmful for the environment. For example, consumption of petroleum product give off the following emission for say carbon dioxide, which is the greenhouse gas and the source of global warming, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, which causes acid rain, which is harmful for the plants and animals. Another reason why fossil fuel are bad for environment has to do with the way they are extracted and removed from the earth. Exploring and drilling for oil may disturb the land and ocean habitats. We should believe in the fact that better environments means better tomorrow, and for that we need to take certain steps in order to bring down overconsumption of crude oil or petroleum based products. So, what is exactly pollution solution? There are certain sections of sectors which consume higher amount of crude oil or petroleum-based products, like transportation sector. Do you know 42% of petroleum products are consumed alone by transportation sector in India? And there are certain cheapest and quickest way we can solve the this problem, like for example, good driving habits, use of car pool public transport system, reduce use of power consuming features like air conditioner if not required. And in this way, we can save almost 20% of fuel can be easily saved in the sectors. and second option is going electric. We can use we India can almost save 55 million barrel of crude oil if we start using electric cars. So if I suggest, if you are planning to buy or purchase vehicle, then please do think of buying electric car and vehicle. Second one is activities in the industrial sector. This industry, the activities conducted in the industry sector consumes almost 26% of total petroleum in India. The third largest consumer of crude oil is domestic sector. Domestic sector consume 13% of total petroleum products in India, and this sector has potential to save almost 30% of the fuel usage. From the domestic sector, I mean household gas, which we use on the daily basis, development of fuel efficient LPG stoves, and we can also try alternate source of energy sources like biogas, solar gas stove. We can use certain measures to make sure we are saving fuel, like using small burner on the stove, cleaning stove burner at regular intervals. Do not directly keep food from the refrigerator to the gas stove. And the fourth sector is activities in the agriculture sector. Agriculture sector consumes almost 5% of total products in India. So government has started certain initiatives to increase awareness amongst the farmers. Government is taking certain initiative, but we can also contribute here. For the most important is educating young minds and people the importance of the fuel consumption, and we can do this by organizing seminars in schools, colleges, providing information on the youth forum, etc. Can also engage youngsters, citizens through marathon, walkathons, and fuel saving concerts. A media campaign can also spread awareness amongst the mass. We should always remember that Earth does not belong to us, we belong to Earth. So it's our duty and responsibility to keep it healthy. Let's come together to make our planet greener and healthier. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Komal, for giving pollution ka solution. Okay, so with you now, the slot one ends, and so I think we should invite slot two students now.
Yes. So Komal, you can log off now.
Good morning, participants. Welcome to the latest edition of Saksham, which is an annual event organized by PCRA. I would first of all read the rules of debate for you. So each participant will have to introduce themselves first. The participants will be given 4 minutes to speak on the given topic, and they will be judged on the following parameters. Number one, confidence. Number two, relevance. Number three, facts that they present in their debate. And the last thing is the time limit that they follow while presenting the debate. So I would like to call the first candidate to speak. Tonupriya Mukherjee, you can start.
Good morning to all the people present here. I'm Tonupriya Mukherjee, a marketing and business analytics student from New Delhi Institute of Management. I would like to start with my debate now. Abraham Lincoln has very well said As yet, the wind is an untamed and unharnessed force, and quite possibly one of the greatest discoveries hereafter to be made will be the taming and harnessing of it. In a greener, cleaner, and healthier world, we would conserve more, use the energy we have more wisely and efficiently, and rely upon the sources of energy which are clean, green, renewable, and leave less environmental damage in their wake. In order to be an effective consumer of green energy, it's good to know where energy actually comes from. And the more we know, the better equipped we will be to enjoy the benefits and educate others. Green energy, which includes green electricity, is clean energy, which means it is produced with little to no environmental impact and does not dispense greenhouse gases into the air that contributes to global warming, the way actually the fossil fuels do. Green energy sources include wind, geothermal, hydro, and solar energy. Wind and hydro sources generate energy through the movement of air and water, while geothermal and solar energy sources generate energy through heat. Energy sources eliminate the emission of the greenhouse gases into the air. These sources are also renewable energy source, which means that they are not created from finite materials like fossil fuels. Green energy also has varied forms, means more locations across the planet can have the potential to harvest this new renewable energy. Now, the major question arises, what concrete steps should we take right now, presently, to move closer to the world we want to live in? The answer to this question is quite very straight and simple. The shift towards a clean, green, and renewable power starts locally. We should ask the states, local governments, and college campuses to aim high to meet all their energy needs with solar, wind, and other renewable sources. Smart public policies have driven the remarkable growth of solar power in states and cities all over the country. We should work towards promoting and defending the future of solar power state by state and city by city. The winds that blow off our water belts and coasts could provide enough electricity to meet the energy needs of the entire water embedded cities and states. Reducing the usage of energy would create big savings for our planet, our climate, and our health. We should work towards adopting strong energy efficiency programs. A clean environment is not a byproduct of any prosperity. Rather, a clean environment is the necessary precondition for true prosperity. Hence, we should work towards shifting more hearts and minds over to this point of view. We should think big and act boldly. But progress comes one step at a time. We shouldn't make broad statements. Instead, we should work towards protecting the landscapes and make a difference in our lives by building support for specific shifts in public policy. We should acknowledge the policies that have resulted in landmark growth in solar and wind power, as well as cleaner air and have reduced global warming pollution in the states. We should know which policies would work, how they can be improved, and what would it take to win approvals. And we should be open to new ideas that could work even better. Hence, clean energy is good for the environment, good for the national security, and good for thousands of people who desire a rewarding career. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Donopriya. Thank you for telling us that how little things can make a difference in the world we are living. On that note, I'm calling Richa Singh, the next participant, to start her debate.
Good morning, everyone. I am Richa Singh from New Delhi Institute of Management, and I am pursuing my PGDM in Finance and Business Analytics. Today talking about clean and green energy. Clean energy is the energy that is produced through methods that do not release greenhouse gases or any other pollutants. Green energy is a subset of renewable energy and represents those renewable energy resources and technologies that provide the highest environmental benefit, unlike the fossil fuel which we are into right now. The market defines green power as electricity produced from solar, wind, geothermal, biogas, eligible biomass, and low impact small hydroelectric sources. These energy are more broadly includes technology and product which can have a considerable impact on both local and global environment. There are several types of green energy which are into use right now, and the most famous one are wind energy. The concept behind wind energy is taking kinetic energy caused by motion from wind and turning it into a usable energy for us. Now, the next in line is solar energy, taking in energy from sun via solar panels and turning it into energy is on the rise nowadays. There we can see a lot of solar panels even at our home, shops, and malls. This is a kind of energy which is very easy to use. Just you have to install first time the solar energy panels, and you can you accommodate your uses according to that, because the process of turning solar energy into power doesn't involve any combustion. It emits almost no greenhouse gases, so it doesn't affect environment badly. Hydropower is also one of these clean energy resources. Believe it or not, hydropower is the most commonly used type of renewable energy. It generally involves hydroelectric mechanism placed into bodies of water. International Energy Agency statistics from end of 2017 reported that hydropower makes up 17% of total electricity production. Isn't that huge? Wind, water, and solar energy are constant, sustainable, and 100% clean energy. It does not cause any negative impact on environment such as pollution and waste. Now, the most important thing is, can clean energy clean up our environment? The global warming crisis was caused largely due to polluting emission from fossil fuel used in factories to power residents and business, also by fueling our cars, which we run each day on the roads on an unlimited number. The only way to reverse these problems, almost all scientists agree, is to switch to renewable energy resources as much as possible we can. We do understand that it is certainly difficult to completely switch from fossil fuel based energy resources to renewable energy resources, but the point is we have to start somewhere, because the impact which the current fuel system is having on our environment and even us as a human being is disastrous. As to whether or not this is possible, almost all the predictions are positive about cleaning the environment with clean energy. Many forecasts say that most of the world countries could make a move to the renewable energy by 2015. But the most important thing is everyone has to come together, from us as citizens to the government and the policy makers and the union bodies like UNESCO and all. Do we need to, but also the most important factor is, do we need to change our lifestyles? However, not everyone believes that the only issue is the kind of energy we use. Some people also say that we also have to cut out on our energy needs. One principle that may have to change is globalism, that requires outlandish amount of power. We may try to fight against global warming as much as we can, but the development of new technologies may not be answer of these questions. What we have certainly to do is to understand that our environment and us as a human being now are on a verge that we need to understand that we have to, we have to cut out our energy resource and also switch to the eco-friendly and greener method. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Risha, for shedding light on the challenges that are faced while shifting from traditional energy sources to green energy sources. Now, I would like to call the next candidate, Sakshi Bhardwaj, to start her part of the debate.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, a very good morning to the teachers and my fellow mates. I am Sakshi Bhardwaj and I am a first year student of New Delhi Institute of Management. I am pursuing PGDM with specialization in marketing and business analytics. So now I take this opportunity to present my views in favor of clean and green energy. And I'll start by the famous quote which says, "A transition to clean energy is about making an investment in our future." I think that the world is in the middle of a transition, a huge transition that we have to make to renewable energy. we have to transition away from fossil fuels very, very quickly. So first of all, what is green energy? So green energy, it includes green electricity and is clean energy. It is produced with the little to no environmental impact, and it does not dispense greenhouse gases into the air that contribute to global warming the way fossil fuels do. So green energy, as I said, it eliminates emissions of greenhouse gases into the air. So these sources are also renewable energy sources, which means that they are not created from finite materials like fossil fuels. Renewable energy is basically derived from natural processes that are replenished constantly in its various forms. It derives directly from the sun or heat generated deep within the earth. In a greener, healthier world, we would conserve more, use the energy we have more wisely and efficiently, and rely only on sources of energy that are clean, renewable, and leave less environmental damage in their wake. And there is no shortage of renewable energy from the sun, wind, and water. So the sunlight in one day, it contains more than twice the energy we consume in an entire year. Clean energy sources, it can be harnessed to produce electricity, process heat, fuel, and valuable chemicals with less impact on the environment. The question is that what concrete steps can we take right now to move closer to the world we want to live in? So the Environment America, it is running three campaigns in its states. So first one is the Go Solar. So smart public policies, it has driven the remarkable growth of solar power in the states and cities all over the country. They're working to promote and defend the future of solar state by state and city by city. Second campaign is Go Big on Offshore Wind. So the winds that blow off from the Atlantic coast, they could provide enough energy, electricity to meet the energy needs of the entire East Coast. And they're asking the governors of the states to take the initiative. Third campaign that they run is that the cleanest energy conservation and efficiency, the cleanest energy they have is the energy we never need in the first place. And reducing energy use creates big savings for our planet, our climate, and our health. So Environment America is working to get states to adopt strong energy efficiency programs. And it is estimated that by 2050, almost all of the global energy needs can be met with renewable energy share, and that would be the global electricity supply. Energy used in buildings and industry would come from renewable energy sources. The transport sector, particularly in aviation and shipping, would be the last sector to become fossil fuel free. And already many countries throughout the world are committing to a future that will be powered by renewables. Like Germany, it currently generates 25% of its electricity from renewables. So, in the bottom line, I will say that it is our responsibility to advance alternative power. However, we should remember that low cost electricity generation, it is crucial to the economy, and it increases income and employment in all sectors and the purchase power of the consumer, and makes exports more competitive. So renewable energy certainly can supplement conventional power, and its use will likely continue to steadily grow. As population continues to rise, renewable energy is a solid alternative to meet the energy demand so far world. So thanks everyone for your attention. It's been a pleasure being with being with all of you today. Thank you and a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakshi. It was a pleasure listening to you. Now I would like to call Kumari Pratiksha to start her part of the debate.
Thank you, Garima. Good morning, everybody. Myself, Pratiksha, and I'm currently pursuing PGDM from NDIM. I'm in first year. So I would like to start with the topic. May I?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So the global crisis that we all are experiencing at an alarming rate is an indication that we have exhausted our mother earth, our natural resources. And it also took us years to accept that, of course, climate change is real. It is high time now that we step up and do something about it, because we need to think about our children so that coexistence is possible among all forms of life. Hello again, I'm Pratiksha and I'm going to share an initiative that might be of great use and benefit, and that would be an ultimate solution for sustainability. The pollution level in our environment, in our atmosphere, is increasing at an alarming rate, and that we all are aware of. The consumption of non renewable resources of energy is in majority all around the globe. These sources of energy are responsible contributors responsible for degradation of Mother Earth if the use of these polluting sources of energy are not stopped, then that time is not far away when our planet would be declared unfit for human existence. What is then the alternative of these sources? Of course, and undoubtedly, it is green energy. Green energy sources have little to no impact on the environment as they don't release harmful greenhouse gases, and they are also not created from any finite materials like fossil fuels. These energy sources are not harmful to humans as well as not harmful for the environment. So we must substitute and we must shift to green energies. We humans are very fortunate enough that nature has provided us an abundant sources of energy, and most of them are free to harvest, which means that we don't have to pay for using them, like the wind, the solar, and everything else that we can count on. One major question is that why should we shift to these non-conventional sources of energy when conventional sources are much cheaper? Yeah, I understand that it is much cheaper to get coal and then setting up a solar system energy, but we have to, because more than 80% of energy produced from conventional sources are like petroleum fuel, fossil natural gases, etc. But according to many researches and studies, it is concluded that the current rate at which these fossil fuels are used, that day is not far away when this all thing will get exhausted. And then what would we do? So better to start now and better to choose a better option and a cleaner option than to realize later on that we must have shifted to way before. These are there are innumerable benefits of green energy, and that is the need of the hour. They are clean, they are non-polluting, they are renewable, they are constant, and these sources are free as well. So I don't think so there is any point, anything that anybody can argue or question that why we should not really shift towards these sources of energy. Humans would be benefited from these energy sources as it would help them for a clean and a healthier environment. And these COVID times and everything has taught us that better a healthier environment and a clean environment than realizing it later that all wrong that we have been doing. So I would like to conclude by saying one thing, a parting thought maybe. The world is ours. Yes, the world is ours, but it is ours to share. The resources are not for one, it is for all of us. All of us here are supposed to share it, and we should share it wisely. Someone might have said something great words about sustainability. Why not we should bring that thoughts and quotes into picture and into life before we regret that. So that was all from my side. Thank you. I would like to extend my heartiest thanks to the college and to bring us this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pratiksha. So, with you, I think all the participants are done speaking. So, shall we close the session now?
So yes, so we had total 9 debaters with us, and just one second.
So now I would like to invite Atul sir to share his views about today's event.
Yeah, thank you, Garima. So, good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to address this gathering, and like at the end of what has certainly been a rich and intense debate, and to express my appreciation to all who took the floor to comment on the theme of green and clean energy. My colleagues and I are very grateful for your expressions. I am glad today's students are so motivated and well informed to take our country to a healthy, green, and prosperous tomorrow. So now I will request Manvi ma'am to say a few words and declare the winners.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. Okay. All right. So it's good afternoon already. So good afternoon, everyone. I think the topic था आज का is it's nobody would have spoken against this topic if it was such a positive agenda, I would say, to speak on. So I was just wondering, while understanding the topic, that nobody would have spoken, against in the debate section. So anyway, when I heard everyone, there were a couple of things that I noted, especially when it comes to topics like these. Students follow a certain pattern, so to differentiate themselves from each other, I think they could probably use, case studies like how Bhutan has become carbon, has a reputation to hold as a carbon negative country, despite being the poorest in the world. And we could have talked about Paris Agreement. We could have talked about United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. While I found some students to be extraordinary in terms of their style, tone, the way they were communicating, the way they were putting forward their point, most of the data was, to be honest, slightly repetitive. They could have chosen to be different from one another by choosing, specific examples to showcase. Otherwise, it was amazing. It was enriching. It was interesting to hear these students. It's like Atul sir said, they were definitely well informed. And we have the winners. So should I announce, or should I announce the winners? You're on mute.
Yes, ma'am, you can announce.
Okay, 1 second. So Deep is first. Deep Shankar Nath is first, and then Richa Singh is second, and then Komal is third.
Komal is here? Okay, she's here.
Komal is here. Yeah. So big congratulations to all of you. All of you performed really, really well, and I was actually watching a lot of people voted for Deep. They were quite happy to hear him. So good the way you presented. I think you were very well in terms of tone, style. Uh, you were persuasive. You were consistent in your speed, which is great. So continue to be like this. Same with Richa and Komal. The content was it was good. I was just telling everybody that next time when you enter into a debate, when you talk about topics like these, try use more and more examples. Give examples of specific countries who have adopted, clean energy, and come down to specific positive results. Or you can talk about United Nations sustainability goals and how different countries are partnering with the United Nations to have green and clean energy. So make it more rich in terms of content, because we all know the basics, we all know the fundamentals, we all know, right? So try and make it more basic, to try and make it more content rich, and so that you are able to put your point forward in a different way. I hope that makes sense, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
So congratulations.
Congratulations and thank you everyone for participating.
Yeah.
Congratulations, all the winners,
Thank you.
and thank you for participating. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we log off now?
Yeah, ma'am, you can. 1 second, ma'am. So, Nivedita.
Okay.
Nivedita ma'am also needs to speak now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to congratulate all of you. Everybody was very, very good with the subject, and congratulations to all of you, and especially to the winners. And on 15th, again, we have done two more competitions at your institute. One is poster making, and other one is essay writing. So on 15th of February, we will be announcing all the winners on another platform, and where the awardees, all the awardees' name and names will come. So we will meet again on 15th. Till then, goodbye and enjoy life.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Stay green.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let's stay green.
Thank you, ma'am.